On today's DNVR Buffs Live, we are once again joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Procter. We'll talk about who needs to have a big game this weekend for the Buffs to win, Mel Kiper's latest big board, Big 12 picks for the week, and much more. Here we go.
Let's go.
Welcome into Studio B for back, because Scott is back.
Let's go. It's my first time in Studio B. I'm liking the feng shui in here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, big Studio B guy.
For real.
Love that for us.
Yeah. Alyssa is going to be a big Scott fan.
Today on the show, going over Mel Kiper's latest big board. Familiar face at number 1 on that thing.
I'm sure we'll all be shocked.
Big 12 picks. Who needs to have a big game? But we start today just catching up with our boy. What's up?
What's the word, fellas? It's been I ain't seen you since I seen you.
Yeah.
Crazy game.
And it was a
on
movie.
Saturday.
Yeah, bro.
Man. I don't know if I've ever been in the building for something as crazy as that, bro. That was insane. I felt like Colorado was dead in the water. And actually, out the gate, can I get y'all opinion on something? Because I wrote about this.
Yeah.
And people kind of disagree with me, and this is not what we'll maybe get into later, but
yeah.
I thought that was Shedeur's best game as a Colorado Buffalo.
Really?
Ooh.
And take some time to think about it. I mean, I would think the criteria would have to include a win, right? So we got 7 games pretty much to choose from, right? You could maybe choose one of the Nebraska games each of the last 2 years. Well, not this year, maybe last year. Maybe you could choose one.
TCU?
The CSU games.
It's TCU for me.
See, that's where I dismiss because Shedeur's gotten better to me. And I just kind of dismiss the idea that his best game was his first game. You know what I'm saying?
That's
fair.
Obviously, he threw for, 340 on Saturday? You take out his sack yards, he ran for 68 yards.
Yeah.
And a touchdown. That's 400-plus total yards of offense. It was raining. Like I said, I thought they were dead in the water at one point. He just made play after play down the stretch. His first Big 12 game as well against a defense that I think played better than we expected them to play. I just thought all around, all things considered, again, you can throw in the Hail Mary as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was his best game.
Back-to-back Hail Marys.
Yeah, literally. I thought that was his best game. People might disagree. You might go to TCU game.
Wow.
He played really well against Nebraska last year as well. But again, all things considered, I thought that was the best Shedeur's looked as a Colorado Buffalo. I'm not going to lie.
So here's what I love about your take, because I think statistically it doesn't necessarily add up to some other ones.
Right.
But he displayed, maybe at a higher level, his most incalculable quality that is also the one that I just know NFL teams is going to be such a tiebreaker for them, which is his clutch.
Yeah,
his clutch
exactly.
factor, his clutch gene.
Exactly.
He has it, to me, more than anyone else in the country.
Yeah.
And it's why I've said multiple times now that I think there's a chance that Colorado's 0-4 with any other starting quarterback.
Oh, for sure.
Speak on it.
So that is one thing I love. At the end of the half and at the end of the game, he pulled out the clutch factor. And, I mean, he's just able to pull a rabbit out of the hat in those moments. Yeah. So I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I like the take because it's not a statistical or even maybe a film marvel from Shedeur, but my God, is it an absolute display of his clutch.
And can I add just one more thing, too? He was sacked a season high 8 times, which I also think is a career high 8 times. I don't think he was sacked more than 7 times last year even. And he slipped out of 4 or 5 additional sacks.
Really did.
I mean, his scramble, I don't remember when it was in the game, but he slipped out of a couple sacks, went to his right, and then came all the way back to the left side of the field for like a 12-yard scramble.
Yep.
That play was absolutely spectacular. So, again, I think I don't know if I've seen him better than I saw him on Saturday.
The scramble in the 2-minute drill or at the end of the game where it was like 2nd and 26 or something, and he rips off like a 16-yard run. Like that was huge in the context of that.
Different.
That's a great take, I think. I mean, I didn't think about it in that way, but now that you brought it up, I think you're probably right.
Yeah, it kind of just depends on the way you're looking at it. And I know,
yeah, for sure.
And I know that an NFL scout is just going to watch that game and be like,
I just saw Tom McShay just tweet something about the game that he just watched all 94 offensive plays, and Shedeur looks like obviously the best quarterback in college football, the number 1 quarterback taken in next year's draft. So
I got it right here.
Yeah, read that for me, 'cause I came across it, but
just finished all 94 plays of Colorado offense versus Baylor, even excluding the Hail Mary. Shedeur was sensational. His receivers just don't have to work for the ball the way a lot of other prospects make their guys work. Best pure passer, anticipation placement, throwing guys open, etc. in the 25 class.
Welcome.
For real.
By the way, will you star Ivan Evans Demons comment? That's a good 4th segment topic, but definitely not first. Yeah. I mean, Jake, this goes back to the conversations we had around the Celebration Bowl after we started really diving into what Shedeur was going to bring to Boulder, and like the conversation outside of this building and the Champion Center was, can Shedeur even play at Power 5? Right. And you and I were sitting there saying, like, I think he might be a 1st-round draft pick when all is said and done. Like, it was like this huge gap between, and now the gap is slowly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I think everyone's becoming abreast to the fact that Shedeur Sanders is like that.
Mm-hmm.
1 of 1.
Do you want to team up and then we can get into UCF?
Yes. I saw you took some heat on Twitter.
Just a little bit.
and a lot of times there's just not enough oxygen and space on Twitter to truly explain what you're talking about. So let's talk about the I guess it was a promotion of your story in which you said, like, look, let's face it, Travis Hunter isn't going to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah, for sure.
So you took a lot of heat for saying he's not going to win the Heisman. That wasn't your take.
Correct. I appreciate you giving me the platform to expand upon this, RK. But no, for real. I mean, go check it out if you haven't already. It's came out 2 days ago. It was published, but it was basically talking about how special Travis Hunter is and what he's doing, how special and unique it is. And obviously, everybody. I think you guys had the Heisman sign behind the show earlier this week, which I love. It's dope, right? But I think, as much as he is deserving of the Heisman Trophy, I just don't think he's going to win it. It has nothing to do with Travis Hunter and what he's displayed on the football field. I just feel like the Heisman voters are going to come up with some excuse not to hand him, that award. Again, whether it's Colorado doesn't win enough games at the end of the season, or a different quarterback on a winning team, a 10-plus win team, just has a Heisman moment, and that's what they give it to, which is crazy because Travis Hunter has literally probably had 3 Heisman moments through 4 weeks of the college football season, if you really think about it. But again, Travis Hunter, he would be my vote. He would be my pick for the Heisman Trophy Award. I mean, this man is 4th in FBS in receptions this season. He's 6th in FBS in receiving yards. No Power 4 cornerback has more tackles without a missed one this season than Travis Hunter. And we saw him lay in the wood a couple times on Saturday, including obviously the game-clinching forced fumble at the goal line, which is just a 1-of-1 play. Your best receiver is out there doing that. That's ridiculous. So again, it really shouldn't be a discussion as to who the Heisman Trophy favorite should be at this point. But yet, if you look at the odds as of earlier this week, he's 8th in Heisman Trophy odds, behind a bunch of quarterbacks who have no business being ahead of him. So I just think for those reasons, again, to me, to everybody up here, he's the Heisman Trophy frontrunner. But the fact that odds makers, they know a little bit, and they know how Heisman voters are operating and what they're thinking. And again, I just think, as deserving as he is and as he's going to be as the season goes along, Heisman voters just won't let it happen for whatever reason. And that was my biggest takeaway. I hope people read the story in its entirety. Travis Hunter is 1 of 1, but again, I don't think he's going to be rewarded as such.
So I understood where you were coming from the jump. I disagree, actually. And I think that this is a perfect excuse for the Heisman voters to defeat the allegations that it's only a quarterback award. With all respect to Cam Ward and obviously Shedeur, Jackson Dart, etc. I think that this isn't there's not like one guy who's just going to blow everyone away like a Johnny Manziel type season.
Not right now, at least.
Exactly. And so I think that voters might relish the opportunity to say, okay, we'll throw one to the others so then we can go back to the quarterback after this. And Travis Hunter is a one-of-one generational player that like we kind of want in our club, right? Like having Travis Hunter belongs in the Heisman house.
I saw somebody I saw somebody tweet like we need to see Travis in the Heisman house.
Yes.
And those commercials would be absolutely gold. I can see him right now. Yeah, that'd be dope.
And so I actually think he is going to win it. And I know this is not how you roll. I don't even want to give the voters the benefit of me saying like, they're not going to do it. I just want to keep the pressure on them.
I hear you.
Like, no. There's no cop-outs here. You guys don't get to do this. You got to give the award to the most outstanding player in college football, and we all know who that is.
Yeah.
If this season keeps going on this trajectory for Colorado, they might have to pick between Shedeur and Travis.
Yes.
True.
So, and I think they give it to Travis in that scenario almost every time over Shedeur for the off-field criticism because what Travis is doing. But then also kind of what you guys said, like if an SEC quarterback, like if Jackson Dart takes Ole Miss to the SEC title game and with like maybe if he loses to Georgia or something, like and he has 45 touchdown passes, like I could just see them going up, SEC quarterback, 45, big number, give him the trophy.
That's what I kind of envision happening. I'm not gonna lie.
And Jalen Milroe right now has 14 total touchdowns to one turnover.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
If Alabama goes undefeated and he has some sort of crazy number like that, then that's going to be tough too.
I would also throw in Nico real quickly because I think he's playing really good ball and it looks like Tennessee. I don't know if they're going to lose many, if at all, games this season.
So we'll see what happens. I think Shedeur is one crazy game away from being right there in that conference. Like it could happen this week. He throws for 400 yards this week and the Buffs win.
Oh yeah.
Now he's in the mix. I actually saw odds today that had him at plus 10,000.
Yeah, that's insane.
So they've pretty much removed him from the conversation entirely. I don't think that I don't think that's going to hold up for long. I think he's going to pull away. But in the end, if it really is about giving the trophy to the most outstanding player, this will go to Travis Hunter regardless of the record. But I am worried about some of the things you're worried about.
Yeah.
And I am glad that Travis Hunter is kind of immune to the hate that's hurled at Colorado. Like he kind of just like exists in another place where they're like,
which is dope.
I hate Colorado, but Travis Hunter. What can you say about him? Like, because I think that would hurt Shedeur. I don't know exactly what a lineup of all of the college football Heisman Trophy voters would look like, but I can have a pretty good guess of what they mostly look like.
Yes.
And it would not shock me if those people do not want to give the Heisman Trophy to Shedeur, but I think they're going to have a hard time not giving it to Travis.
I agree, man.
We'll see. Let's go into UCF a bit
Real
here.
quick, can we show the shirt again?
Oh, yeah. Pull up the shirt. There's the link right there.
There you go.
Store.allcitynetwork.com.
Yeah.
There's a good look at it.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's beautiful.
Can't wait.
Shout out to everyone who's been messaging me saying they got it and everything. We're gonna make the campaign happen.
Yep. All right, Scott. Got about 60 seconds. Just your initial thoughts on UCF, and then we'll dig in more on the other side of the break.
Got to stop the run, right? RJ Harvey is really like that. He's the best running back. This is the best rushing attack that Colorado is going to face up to this point in the season, maybe all season. RJ Harvey is an NFL running back, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be all hands on deck. It's great to get Chidozie Nwankwo back in the mix, this weekend. It's good to get Dallin Hayden back in the running back room on the other side of the ball this weekend as well. And we'll see how much the weather impacts things. But you got to stop the run, got to win the turnover battle. And you got to start fast, right? Cam talked a little bit about it on Tuesday, about how they're working on that, making sure dudes aren't fiddling with their helmet and shoulder pads before practice, making sure they're ready to go before practice. And that's got to be something, again, on the road in front of a sold-out crowd. You got to start fast. Don't allow that home crowd to get into things.
All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about who needs to have a big game. But first, a word from our friends over at Game Time. Take all the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time. This game, this weekend, Buffs versus the Golden Knights. It's going to be pretty raucous, I think. There's going to be a lot of Buff fans out there, but there are still some tickets available, so head on over to Game Time. Use that Game Time Picks feature to see exactly where the best deals are in the stadium. You can get a view of your seat and all that good stuff as well. Not just for games, but concerts, events, whatever's going on in your city. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code BUFFS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time. Also, shout out to Zbiotics. I'm heading to a wedding this weekend, which means a dreaded thing for people in their 30s. Back-to-back days of drinking. It's going to be fun, but it's going to be a test. And I'm glad I have Zbiotics on my side because it's pre-alcohol, meaning before the party starts, make sure you pour your little Zbiotics packet, shake it up, chug it down, and give yourself the highest chance of coming out of the next day unscathed, or at least less scathed.
Yes.
So check out Zbiotics if you're looking to have a big weekend. Heck, if you're just heading out to Florida to have a good time at the game, get you some Zbiotics. And when you use the code DNVR Buffs at checkout, you're going to get 15% off your order, so you can stock up and make sure that you're safe and protected when you drink.
We'll be thinking of you this weekend, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, feel bad for me. I'm going to hang out with all of my best friends and missing the game. It's a catch-22. I wish I could be in both places at once.
We haven't gotten that technology yet, but one day we will.
One day.
All right.
I will try to patch in to the post-game show from the wedding.
We will also try to get you in. Don't worry. We'll make it happen. Okay, let's get into this game a bit more. Who needs to have a big game for the Buffs? I mean, we can go any angle here, really. You can go position group, player.
I want to get more specific, though.
Okay.
If you can only choose one, who would you choose to have their best game of the season?
Okay. You want to start us off?
Nope.
No?
One of y'all start off.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, position group, I would pick the offensive line. I've just come to the conclusion that this, as long as Shedeur Sanders is at quarterback and this team is assembled the way it is, you just got to protect him, and then good things will happen, and you'll win a lot of games. There's not this last week with 8 sacks. You're not going to win many games like that. I wouldn't count on winning another game, honestly, this season with that sack number.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, he was pressured even more times, got out of more sacks.
Yeah.
So I would pick the offensive line. If I had to pick a position, I'd pick the right tackle, Khalil Benson. Give us some bookends.
All right. Good one.
I had to go chalk.
Okay. No, it's fine. Do what you got to do.
But it's the guy we just talked about in the open. Travis Hunter. I feel like the matchup, Kobe Hudson is a dog.
Yeah, he is.
Their top receiver, and especially with how much this defense, Coach Livingston, has played man coverage over the first 4 weeks of the season, with how effective UCF's run game is, it's going to put the play action passing game for UCF, at a premium. So Travis is going to be in a lot of one-on-one situations, I would assume, whether that be on Kobe Hudson or somebody else. And I think he's going to have to get a turnover, whether obviously interception, force a fumble like he did on Saturday. But I think we know what we're going to get out of him. He's probably going to go for 100 yards receiving again for the 5th straight game.
Sixth.
But 6, right?
Yeah,
6,
4 this year, 1 last year.
Yeah, that's nuts. But I think defensively, I think he has to, give those Heisman voters, more reason to think about, the fact that he really is the best player in the country. But I think defensively, cornerback Travis Hunter, I think has to have one of his best games, if not his best game of the season.
I like it.
Totally fair. And also, you kind of got to pick 2 players in one.
Kind of. Just a little bit.
That's
why I tried to specify I'll go with cornerback, defensive player Travis Hunter. But yeah.
I would honestly, if I was like you, I would just pick Shedeur and call it a day. But I'll try to be a little more specific and different.
Okay.
I'm going to take Levante Bentley because I don't know if we've seen he's been really good this season. And I don't know if we've still seen him have his best game.
Yeah.
This offense, defending against this offense is all about being in the right place. And I think it's the number one thing that he's done fantastic throughout the season. But I think we could see like a 20 tackle game from Levante Bentley in this. And if that happens, it means that they're stopping this thing at the first level.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'll pick Bent, but you could also go Nakai Hill-Green. I mean, you could go or you could go Cam for the same reasons of just like everyone's going to be down in the box. If someone has a ridiculous amount of tackles down there, it means they did a good job of stopping this thing.
Yep. If I had to pick someone on the other side of the ball, then I'd probably pick Nikai Hill-Green or Chedeur, who we talked about yesterday. You need someone in the front seven to create some havoc. Just blowing plays up at the line of scrimmage, crashing into pulling guards, because that's what they love to do. They're going to pull guards all over the field, whether it's misdirection or two guys going where they're just trying to run behind. So whether it's a linebacker coming downhill or Chedeur, big end, Quinn Barnes gets in there and just creates havoc, someone needs to be extremely disruptive this weekend on the defensive side of the ball in order for the Buffs to control that offense, control the clock, and get it back into Shedeur's hands.
Yeah, and I also considered picking Block Boley, but he just hasn't played that much. So his best game doesn't have that much of a there's not enough spectrum for it right now.
That's fair.
Somebody who I'd like to see make a one at minimum splash play on Saturday. Somebody who we had high expectations for coming into the season, but I don't think has really made a splash play, so to speak. That's Samuel Okunlola, right? I think on the edge, he's going to have some opportunities, and obviously KJ Jefferson is going to try his best to extend plays in the passing game, and we know what he is as a runner. But I feel like Samuel Okunlola, I see BJ Green in the chat being mentioned as well, Deion Hayes. If one of those guys can have a game record type game, a couple tackles for loss, 1 or 2 sacks, I feel like that can make a big difference in this one and kind of slowing down UCF's explosive offense.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I'll throw Cam out there too, just because the KJ Jefferson run factor of this team. I'm not saying we need to have like a spy on all defensive players or something, but you need an athlete out there, someone who's got that dog, who is not afraid to go up against 6'5" or 6'3", whatever he is, KJ Jefferson, and try to tackle him one-on-one in space. Cam is one of your best tacklers. I think the more you get him around the scrimmage in this against this offense, the more opportunities he'll have to also be disruptive and make plays, but also sure tackling. That's something that TCU really struggled with against UCF, especially late in the game, was getting those guys down, getting KJ down in the pocket. They just got to finish tackles, and Cam is one of, if not the best tackler on this team.
Yeah, and some people hate when you say things like this, but like, they've got to make KJ Jefferson pay when he runs the ball.
Yes.
You got to make him think twice if he wants to keep running between the tackles. That's a quarterback out there. It's different than a running back. Like, I'm not saying do anything dirty, but you pop him in the arm, you pop him in the shoulders. Like, you start as a quarterback, you start thinking, man, I don't want to do that anymore because I'm gonna have to throw this ball later.
Yeah.
So gang tackle, not just one person getting him to the ground, but hold him up and tee off.
Well, I mean, the option game is going to be so big, whether it's speed option or read option. That's a free opportunity to hit the quarterback on most plays.
No doubt.
Make it count.
Also, not necessarily. Well, I guess any game would be these guys' best game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bit of Jalen Wester and maybe even Johnny Chaney in this game.
Awesome. It doesn't sound like Shiloh is going to be playing. We've kind of thought that would be what's going to happen. And I think it's smart at this point, too. You have this game, you get a bye week, and then you have another big game on the other side of that bye week, too. So, it could give them a chance this weekend to figure some of that stuff out at linebacker as well. Cam's been playing well in the box. Carter is obviously a big body, too. So
shout out Carter. If he wasn't playing this well, they might be wanting to rush Shiloh back a little bit earlier than
great point.
He might be ready, but Carter stepped in and really this defense hasn't missed a beat. Some respects they've maybe been better. I mean, they gave up 7 second half points to Baylor on Saturday. That's the most points they've given up in the second half all year. If that trend continues on Saturday, I really like their chances.
I was actually shocked to find out that the Buffs are only 9th in second half defense in the country, and they're giving up 4.5 points per game in the second half. I'm like, wow, how are there 8 teams giving up less than 4.5 points per game?
Is it like Georgia and like powerhouses and stuff?
I didn't look through all of it. I just saw it in the notes that they were 9th.
Who do you guys trust more? The offensive line against this UCF pass rush, which has been lackluster. They only have 1 sack on the year. Or this defensive line, which I think we all have faith in, but they're going up against literally the best team in the country at running the football.
The question is who
do you have more faith in, Colorado's offense or defensive line?
I mean, I think you have to have more faith in the defensive line because they've shown to be so much improved over last season. This is the ultimate challenge. And like I've said all week, you're not going to, quote unquote, stop the run against UCF.
Right.
hope to contain the run against UCF. You're hoping to not get gashed for 60-yard runs. You're gonna give up a couple 15, 20-yard runs. Like it's I call it like the slot machine effect. You keep pulling that slot, eventually it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what UCF is going to do. They're going to send a million different run looks at you, and one of them is bound to work. 5 of them are bound to work. But I legitimately think holding them under 225 rushing yards would be a win.
They average in 350.
Exactly.
357.
Because that's crazy. I mean, going into a game being like 225 is okay.
Yeah.
Sounds wild, but like I said from the beginning of this week, it's kind of like playing Air Force. And if you told me you could hold Air Force to 225 rushing, you'd be happy.
Yep.
Now KJ Jefferson is certainly better than most quarterbacks we've seen at Air Force, so he poses a threat there as well. But yeah, I mean, giving up 225 rushing yards is a lot, and yet somehow would be a win against this team, which is why I say you're not going to stop it. You just don't want to get killed by it.
Yep.
Yeah, in terms of trust, I agree. It has to be a defensive line just based on how they played this year. I mean, getting Chidozie back is going to be huge, like we talked about. And Quinn Barnes has kind of impressed me. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't too sure what to make of him coming in, but he's played really well. He's kind of been a real, his own version of a block bully in that interior of that defensive line. So that's the better unit. They got to show up big, but offensively, I mean, they got to feel like they're in a decent spot. Obviously, UCF only has 1 sack defensively on this season, so they're obviously not strong in that unit by any means. So I kind of like how there was some shuffling during Saturday's game on the offensive line, with Benson and Mayers and obviously TB as well. I honestly think that's a good thing. Getting more guys in there who you can trust. Somebody might not be having a good day, Somebody might be having a bad game, and you have to feel good that go spill him, for a series or two or a half or two, a quarter or two, or whatever it is. So it's going to be, important for this offensive line to protect Shedeur much better than they did last year, and they should be in a good spot too with, again, UCF's pass rush not being elite, to say the least.
It's one of the things that I don't think has been talked about enough when people discuss this game is like, what about the world where Shedeur Sanders throws for 450 yards and they can't get after him because they haven't shown an ability to do that, and Colorado puts up 45, 50 points?
Bro, that's kind of where I'm at with it, bro. Josh Hoover went for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against them. Like TCU was beating UCF 21-7.5. They had a 3-score lead on UCF in the second half. So what you think Shedeur gonna do?
I know.
I got an idea. I'm not gonna lie, but
and I had someone in my mentions today saying Josh Hoover is better than Shedeur Sanders.
That can't be a real
They don't know ball.
That can't be a real thing.
But if they can protect him, because I thought TCU's offensive line did a really good job in that game. If they can protect him, there's just a world where like
they score damn near every drive.
They just go down there and score. And maybe it ends up being a shootout, but I'll take an unstoppable passing offense, in this game to give them a real shot. And I think that this run defense can get enough stops. Obviously, if it was just you're not going to be able to stop the run versus you're not going to be able to stop the pass, you probably take the run. But I think this team can stop the run, even if it's not all game long. If Shedeur's out there just racking up touchdowns, I think they can get enough stops to win this game.
So then real quick on the offensive line side, I just think that this game could be like a statement game for them, kind of like USC last year, where obviously they're coming off one of their worst performances of the year, allowing 8 sacks, allowing tons of pressures. I mean, Shedeur was hit all game. But, they kind of bowed their back, after Oregon last year, after they were dismantled and stood up against USC. And we know, how that game ended up shaking out. It looks closer maybe than it actually was. And if Colorado was more together in the first half, they probably could have won that football game. But I go back to UCF's cornerbacks. You have to take advantage of this.
Yes.
The offensive line has to step up. They have to protect, because even if, everyone says, give Shedeur 2.5, 3 seconds and good things happen, I don't think you even need that much time because of how bad these corners are.
Yeah.
If you just give him a few seconds to see what's actually going on in the field, just recognize that Travis has his hand up 20 yards downfield, it might be, game, set, done.
Yeah. The only hesitation I have, with what you were just saying about Travis is, I don't think any defense is going to play Colorado like they play any other team.
That's fair.
You just have no choice but to keep someone with Travis. If they actually are willing to give Travis Hunter single coverage, they will lose.
Yep.
Same thing that happened to TCU last year. And guess what? No one else really did it the rest of the season.
I was going to say, I don't think UCF that crazy. Gus Malzahn.
I don't think so either. No. But that's why it's like so hard, because I mostly was watching film on UCF's offense because I'm just like, there's no way they play Colorado like this on defense.
True.
All right, let's take a break. Shout out our friends at UC Health and their Ready, Set, Co Challenge with Coach Prime as the Chief Motivation Officer of the Ready, Set, Co Challenge. Big point of emphasis right now, sleep. Do not sleep on sleep. Get your 8 hours, put your phone down, set a bedtime, whatever it is.
What's your bedtime, Jake?
Well, okay. Let me finish this read and then we'll talk about it. Don't sleep on sleep. Again, the goal of the challenge, get Colorado back to its rightful place as the healthiest state in the country. And if you want to join UC Health's Ready, Set, Co Challenge, click the link in the show notes or go to www.uchealth.org/readysetco.
Also, shout out to Westera. They just launched their 90th anniversary CD that offers a 9% annual percentage yield. Yes, you heard that right. A 9% APY from our friends over at Westera Credit Union. It's an unbelievable deal that's only going to be available for a limited time. And you can start with a balance as low as $500 or as high as $3,000. Of course, it's insured by the NCUA. So check out this limited time offer from our friends by going to westeracu.com to learn more. Early withdrawal penalty applies. Fees could reduce earnings. Rates are accurate as of 9/1/2024. New money and in-branch offer only. Wow, this is hard with people talking. Limited time offer subject to change without no review, membership, account, agreement, disclosures, and information guide for additional details. Membership eligibility required. Insured by NCUA. I was rolling there for a second.
I know. Okay, so bedtime.
Yeah.
We've got to wake up. The flight's out of here at crack of dawn tomorrow. So I stayed up late last night to kind of tire myself out so I can sleep tonight so I get some rest.
Nope. You did it all wrong.
How? Because if I do my usual bedtime, then I go to sleep at like 1 o'clock and then I wake up at 3 a.m. and I get 2 hours.
So what time did you wake up today?
9:30.
Okay, you might have a chance, but you got to do it like 2 days in advance.
No, I'll be okay.
I kind of agree with you.
Because whenever
one day is not enough in advance.
Sometimes I accidentally on Saturday I'll stay up till 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
And then I just do the same thing again on Sunday.
Yeah.
No,
and then Monday comes around and I'm absolutely cooked, and that's the night that I go to bed early.
Day.
But I'm good to go. Our content's done for out here for the week and stuff. So I don't need to worry about anything tonight. I can just relax, go to sleep, get up at the crack of dawn.
What time are you waking up? What time do you think your alarm will be for tomorrow?
I don't even want to think about it.
2:30.
You're staying up. You're
No,
staying
I'm
up.
not. No.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, if the alarm going off at 2:30, you may as well just stay up. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, bro. I can get to sleep by 9 or 10 tonight. I can almost guarantee it.
All right. Good luck. Best of luck.
I made it happen for the RV for Nebraska. That's what I did the 2 nights before.
All right. He's got
He knows what he's doing.
I got you guys are surprised at how rested I was that morning.
That was crazy. I've never seen you in a good mood in the morning. What's your standard bedtime?
I've been a lot better now, 12 to 1.
Okay.
But sometimes it's 2 to 3.
Scott?
My sweet spot's between 10 and midnight.
Okay.
Anywhere between there.
I aim for midnight and usually end up being around 1.
Yeah. Okay, we still have a bit to get to here. I want to touch on this first, just real quick takeaways. Did you guys see the report from Steve Wilfong that UCF is going to host over 100 recruits for this weekend's game?
I saw that earlier. 100 is crazy. Over 100 is wild.
Yeah. They're not all going there to see UCF. We know that, right? We're all aware of this.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, it's 100% true. 100% true. Coach Prime literally said it to Romy. Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
No,
I saw that.
Coach Prime, before all of this 100 came out, so I think Coach Prime and Romy probably recorded this on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Not to, take you behind that curtain, but I think it's probably around when he does the press conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he said, I guarantee this will be UCF's biggest recruiting weekend. And she asked, well, can you invite recruits to away games? And he was like, no, but A lot of times they'll just ask to go to the other team's game, which happens all the time. So
that's exactly
he predicted this coming. He said it's going to be their biggest recruiting weekend of the year. But now, because of last week, I'm now in like movie mode where I'm just like imagining everything like in being shot in like a cinematic way. Yeah. And I can just imagine Colorado winning on like a last second play. Coach Prime walking over to the recruit section, a la the Miami recruits who went over to the Florida recruit section, and just like giving them a little tip of the cap.
Yep. All right.
Which Neely has told a story too about something similar. So ask him about that when you're doing the pregame show. I can't remember the exact story, so I don't want to try and tell it and be wrong.
Mel Kiper put out a new big board today. We'll just hit this quickly. Number 1 player is wide receiver / cornerback from Colorado, Travis Hunter.
Ball knower Mel Kiper?
We won't open that box. But he is obviously very respected. Number 12, actually, is the top-rated quarterback on his list, and that is Shedeur Sanders.
So he's saying the best quarterback is the 12th best player in the country?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. That is interesting. Who are some of the players that are ahead of him?
Will Johnson, James Pierce, Michael Williams from Georgia, Malachi Starks, Kelvin Banks, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Tedero McMillan, Luther Burden III, and Jalen Walker from Georgia as well.
T-Mac at 9.
It's 3 Georgia players in there, defensive players.
Wow. By the way, I said this to someone this morning. If Shedeur Sanders was the quarterback of Georgia,
oh, dude,
they would moonwalk to a national championship.
The season would be over. We wouldn't even play it anymore. It'd be over.
Yes. I truly believe that. Like, I think they'd be beating teams by like 40 points every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, I think that he's spot on with Travis. I think that Shedeur is being a little bit underappreciated there.
Yeah, I think Kiper said last week
but I like that he's the first quarterback. Sorry.
Shedeur is in a three-horse race with Beck and Cam, I believe, to be that first quarterback taken, which I get, but we'll see what happens over the next 10 weeks or so.
Yeah, not to dig into this too deep, but his 12, 13, 14, and 15 players are quarterbacks. It goes Shedeur, Beck, Ewers, Ward.
Okay.
We'll see how much Ewers' injury affects things.
Yeah. Cam is going to be an interesting one because he's kind of just come onto the scene. Obviously, we knew about him, but in terms of Heisman candidacy, in terms of number 1 overall pick or top quarterback, but if he keeps this up, and that's what I wrote in the story that we're going to drop later today, is just like if Cam Ward has the tag of like he brought Miami back on him as well, it's going to make a big time noise.
Yeah. All right, let's make some picks.
Shout out to DC, Select QB.
Yep, big shout to Select QB. We've got a nice slate here for the Big 12.
I low-key might have went undefeated on picks last week.
There you go.
Unless we...
That means I did really bad because we were against each other.
Did we pick Kansas State BYU?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Well, then I did it, but
yes,
I couldn't remember if we... I know we talked about it.
That's when we had the conversation about Avery Johnson.
Which didn't age well after a week. But
at least I got something.
At least I got time. But other than that, I think I did well. Like, I think I did pretty well aside from that upset.
All right, let's start with...
Can I just hit 2 things really quick?
Sure, go ahead.
One, shout out Goonsville.
Yeah, shout out Goonsville.
Our guy came by and dropped off the white and gold hats, which are sick. What are those? What did you want to call them? Gold Trooper?
I just thought that was my favorite reply.
Well, that's the Gold Trooper hat.
That is.
What was I going to say? Oh, also, if you're in Florida, we're thinking of you guys, especially anyone that's in the Bend. Yeah, so be safe. Let us know how you're doing. Keep us updated. We're thinking of y'all.
We start. We'll get to CU UCF. We'll do that one last, but we'll start with the other early game. Oklahoma State traveling to K-State.
Wow.
I think this is the only top 25 game of the weekend for the Big 12. Number 20, Oklahoma State. Number 23, K-State. All odds courtesy of our friends over at Bet365. The Wildcats, 5-point favorites at home.
Both coming off a loss, huh?
Both coming off a bad loss. Well, Oklahoma State, Utah, but you didn't lose to Cam Rising, so...
I think that kind of makes it a bad loss.
Yeah. Where do you guys go? Where do you land?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll go Oklahoma State in a kind of a big one.
Okay.
Bounce back game for them. I'm sure they're going to be very upset. And then I hate to say this, but I think that Avery Johnson is kind of exposed a little bit. And I think that Oklahoma State has the defense to continue that.
Scott?
I like the home team.
All
I'm
right.
going to stay on the Avery Johnson train for at least one more week. I really like, obviously Oklahoma State has a exceptional running game as well with Ali Gordon, but I really like K-State's kind of two-headed monster with DJ Giddens, Dylan Edwards as well, and obviously what Avery Johnson is able to do is both the passer and runner. I think their home field advantage is going to make a difference in this one. I like K-State.
We picked this game on the draft pod earlier today, so I'm going to stay consistent. I took the Cowboys. I just think that they'll have a kind of what you said, have a chance to get after Avery, and I think that both teams took a bad loss, but going into this atmosphere, I think you've got to be extra fired up to be in this game. Also,
there's a big difference between losing to Utah and getting blown out by BYU.
BYU is a top 25 team now, though.
They are. But
they entered the top 25 this year?
Yep, they are number 22. Do you guys want to pick that one next? Number 22, BYU, going to Baylor, a team we just saw. Baylor, 3.5-point favorites at home. Who you got?
That is a true.
I think I like Baylor in that one. I'm going to go with the home team as well.
This feels like a classic Vegas trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, I mean, that's kind of really like, I agree with you, though. Like, I feel like a lot of the betting world is going to be on BYU in this one. I mean, I like Baylor. I like what I saw out of that. I think Sawyer Robertson, he's better than I thought he was.
Yeah.
And I like Baylor at home.
Yeah, Dre and I used to have a rule on the betting show, which is like anytime you see a ranked team against a lower ranked team and the lower ranked team is the favorite, just believe them.
Yep.
Believe them. So I'm going to believe Vegas and roll with Baylor here.
Yep, I've learned from Dre. I'm taking Baylor in this one as well.
What was the game last week where I said I was going to take the cheese? Was I right or wrong?
Give me a minute here and I'll...
I think it was Arizona State.
Yeah.
I said I'd take the cheese on Arizona State, and I was wrong. I'm stuck in the trap now.
Yeah. I didn't take Arizona State.
Yeah, I did check on that one, yeah.
Two teams who I guess have disappointed thus far. TCU traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. By the way, did you see that Kansas and the Chiefs have somehow not signed a contract for a game that's happening in less than 72 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that, but I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how that's a thing.
They're painting a Jayhawk on the field, though. So
what is going on?
It's crazy, bro.
Like,
I don't get it.
I don't know how this stuff works, but like, couldn't Arrowhead just keep all the money then? So like, we didn't sign an agreement,
right?
You had an event in our stadium. We're just gonna keep this money.
That's crazy.
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The Jayhawks 1.5-point favorites at technically home, but of course in Arrowhead. Do you believe in Jalen Daniels?
Oh God!
Flatly no.
Yeah.
Flatly no. I didn't really before the season, and he's kind of proved that so far through 4 or so weeks. But I don't really know about this one because I don't think TCU is very good either.
I know. I mean, I'm coming off of watching that TCU UCF game, which left me with more questions than answers about
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think Kansas has been embarrassed here recently. I think they bounce back at home. I'll take Kansas.
I think I'm going to roll with Kansas, too. Again, it's another one where it's just like I'm not taking the trap. But I would just like to recall that there were real living, walking humans before this season saying that Jalen Daniels is better than Shedeur Sanders.
Yep. Yes, there were. I'm going to take the Horned Frogs. Just a disappointing loss recently to the Knights at home. Give me them in a bounce back. We're not going to pick Iowa State Houston because the Cyclones are 15-point favorites on the road.
We can pick against the spread.
It's minus 14.5 real quick.
I'll take Iowa State.
Me too.
Same.
A battle of 3-1 teams in prime time on ESPN2. Cincinnati travels to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech. The Red Raiders -3. Do you believe in Cincy, or is Texas Tech been playing worse than what they actually are?
Much like Scott saying he's going to go one more week with Kansas State, I'm going to go one more week against Texas Tech.
Okay.
And I'll take Cincinnati here, who has been weirdly impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Red Raider fans are going to be turned. They're 4-1 after this weekend, and I think they will be. I think Cincinnati might have looked a little bit better than they actually are last week in a win over Houston, a blowout win over Houston. But I like Texas again at home. Give me the Red Raiders.
I will take the Red Raiders as well. One last one before we get to our game. This is also in prime time.
Wow.
Arizona Wildcats. This was a big game last year where they really put the hurt on Utah, but they're going to Utah. Don't know about Cam Rising. The line is Utah -8 on Bet365.
I kind of really like Arizona in this spot here, coming off some disappointing results here recently. So you can say the same, or Utah is obviously coming off a big win. We don't know about the quarterback situation, but I really like Noah Fifita, man. I think he's still going to yet to play his best ball of the season here. T-Mac is obviously unguardable.
Yep.
Give me Arizona. Pick my first road team of the weekend here.
Okay.
And the Kansas State game wasn't a conference game, right?
Against Arizona?
Correct.
Yep. Yes.
Man, this game could really flip this whole conference conversation on its head.
No doubt.
If what you're saying happens, no one will have any idea what to do with the Big 12.
That's
which I'm kind of rooting for.
Which would be good for Colorado,
Yep.
right?
I kind of also rooting against Arizona for several reasons. Give me Utah, and they can kind of like, I'm not saying bury Arizona, but start like holding the nail over the coffin and just tapping it a little bit.
I hear you.
Yep. I'm taking the Utes as well. I think there's apparently some bad blood between these teams after what happened last year. So give me Utah in a bit of a get-back statement game.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm not familiar.
Arizona's throwing the ball late. Utah didn't like it.
So Arizona won that game.
Yes.
By a lot?
I'll find the score for you.
I want to say it was like 35-21 when they were throwing, maybe. They threw like a
Final score was 42-18.
Sheesh.
So I think it was like 35-18 when they threw a 9-ball
they scored
to
a late
Tedero and
touchdown.
McMillan. And that's what has this revenge factor up in the air.
That kind of makes me feel a little bit less confident in Arizona because I know Kyle Whittingham, he ain't playing that. he been replaying that probably all week, so that's interesting. But I'll stick with the Cats.
Last one. We've talked enough about this game. We've talked enough about this spread. Buffs are 14-point dogs going into Orlando to take on UCF.
I mean, one of the craziest spreads that I can remember.
Yeah, seriously.
And I say that while acknowledging the fact that a lot of times I think that and Vegas ends up being right. But I also thought that last year at TCU, and I was the one who was right. So
what was the spread for that one going into it?
21.5.
I think it was more.
Wow.
23.5?
I think so.
Wow.
It was a lot. I'll tell you what the money line was. I remember that very well. That was plus 800.
Gee, that's a good play right there.
I've got the Buffs winning this football game. And I've got them doing it in a way that opens eyes across the country. So give me Colorado 31-21. They do stop the run and reshape the entire narrative.
I've gone back and forth with this one this week. I think earlier in the week, I had UCF in a close game, but I think as of recently, the more I thought about it, I think Colorado wins this one outright in a shootout. Again, something about Josh Hoover throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns against UCF is just burned into my memory. And it just makes me think, what the hell is Shedeur going to do against that defense? Shedeur going to do against that defense? And also, too, obviously, a lot has been made about UCF's elite running game, but this Colorado run defense was ranked 122nd in run defense grade by PFF last year. They're 15th in run defense grade this year through 4 seasons. The run defense is obviously better. I think Shedeur does his thing. And actually, I think he leads a late Brady mode touchdown drive at the end of the game to seal it. I think Colorado wins 42-35.
Give me the Buffs 35-28.
All right. By the way, speaking of betting and spreads,
Yep.
the Colorado Rockies have done it. They've covered their season win total of 60.5 wins. They have won their 61st game.
I was wondering, well, he's always invested, but I was wondering why Hank was so invested when we were going to lunch in the Rockies game this afternoon.
I just won. I mean, I always just bet it because I'm like, oh, I'll have a reason to watch at the end of the year. I actually didn't have a reason to watch. I haven't been watching at all. But I won.
Congrats, man.
Let's go. Thanks, Rockies, for the first time ever in at least 10 years.
You can find all those Rockies odds and all these college football odds over on our friends at Bet365. It is my favorite book to bet on when it comes to football because you have the early money line payouts. If your team gets up by 17 points or more, that money line cashes out no matter what happens the rest of the game. Sign up with the code DNVR365 when you sign up to get in on the bet and get offer. Deposit $10, place a bet of $5 or more, then get $200 in bonus bets deposited directly into your account. You must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Also, shout out to Coors Light.
Shout out to what?
Also, shout out to Circle K.
There you go.
But also, shout out to Coors Light.
You can get Coors Light at Circle K.
You can. You can.
Hey, why do y'all say it like that? That got me dead.
I don't know, man. There's just something about when you go up to the bar and you just say, "Can I get a Coors Light?" Just hits different when they bring it.
Circle K.
Anyway, Circle K. You can also get Coors Lights there. That's actually kind of a new thing in Colorado, but it's for real now. You can get everything there. You can get your snacks there. You can get your gas there. You can get like Advil there. We've stocked up on some of that before we went on the road. Mm-hmm. The ultimate road trip stop, the ultimate snack stop. And when you join the Inner Circle Awards program, you can save up to 25 cents per gallon on your first. No, not up to. You will save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 Phillips. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. So shout out to Circle K. Shout out to the Inner Circle Rewards program. Scan that QR code right there in front of you on the screen and save a bunch of money. It seems very obvious.
Shout out Circle K. They're powering us this weekend to back on the bus.
Let's go. I wish I was with you.
We will miss you, my friend. All right. To the Toyota chat we go. Who's first?
Sorry.
Oh, here we go. Here you go, RK.
This is obvious. How could you not support troughs in a sports stadium urinal? We are looking for efficiency here. We are trying to get in, get out, and get back to our seats. This last game, first of all, unfortunate development from my new seats in Folsom. Not very close to a men's bathroom. Third quarter, I think it's a third quarter break. Was the first play of the fourth quarter the little jet sweep to Travis Hunter? I think it was.
I think.
Anyways.
I'm not sure.
And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a regular break. Anyways, I book it to the bathroom. The trough lines are moving quickly. I get in, get out, and back to my seat, which is not close with only missing one play. That's just something you can't do when you're using, standard urinals or whatever stalls. I'm here for efficiency, and that's what it's all about. So
Hold time.
Give me the troughs.
What's a trough? Is that like that big
It's just
piss
like
tub?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, I got it.
Instead of like one urinal, it's just like one giant one.
Gotcha.
Hawaii Chris says
a lot more space, just spaciously efficient.
I'm dead.
Are they not driving to the RV to Orlando for this game? I thought they were going to every away game. We are. We're leaving tomorrow morning. The RV is meeting us out there.
The problem with the riding the RV out there this week was we wouldn't have been able to go to like the press conferences during the week because we would have had to leave so early because it takes so long to drive there. But the tour bus did go. It's actually in Atlanta right now. So they're waiting on the storm a little bit too. But the crew minus me and the bus will be out there.
We shall. King Tony's asking, where's the tailgate going to be at UCF? It's going to be in the RV lot. We'll tell you exactly where because it's kind of just an open lot and we're just going to pull it in and it's first come, first serve for spots. So we'll figure it out. I'll find us on a map and put a picture on Twitter.
Sick.
Jasmine, serious question. Who votes on the Heisman Trophy? A serious answer. It's the Heisman Trophy voters. I don't know how you get on that list.
I know one personally, but I don't know what the
you work
rest
with
of the
one, right?
right.
Yeah.
Correct. But I don't know. Yeah.
There's a lot.
It's like a secret society almost.
Yeah, it kind of is. But there's hundreds of them. There's literally hundreds of them.
For sure.
Yeah, it is 870 voters with 6 regions, each getting 145 votes.
Crazy.
Interesting.
JJ asks, Coach Prime said Tyler Johnson is coming. Is he here yet? Hope he shows up before Saturday. I would not count on that.
I would say the opposite is true.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be seeing Tyler Johnson for a minute. East Coast Kev with the super chat, though. Not only did I pick Colorado to win, but I picked them to win by a field goal. 100 to win, 1,100 easy money. We're going to Orlando to put a foot in Mickey Mouse's ass. Let's go, East Coast Kev.
It did dawn on me today that UCF plays in Orlando, and they quite literally claim the most Mickey Mouse championship of all time.
Yes, they do. Yeah, never forget that.
The irony.
2 favorite uncles. Travis on their best receiver will probably eliminate that side of the field, right? That's the plan.
Travis did travel with Torrey Horton, did he not? A little bit?
I can't really remember because Torrey didn't play most of the second half.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, I just don't really remember seeing Torrey out there a bunch to where I could say that Travis was shadowing.
And he was so ineffective in the first. He was obviously hurt, of course.
I think he was ineffective because he was getting clamped up by Travis Hunter.
Well, that too, but
it's possible.
He was just a non-factor.
But then I do remember one play. Oh, actually, on the Preston pick, it was definitely 1-on-1, and Travis was literally shoving Torrey out of bounds.
Let's go.
So I remember that for sure, but I don't know about the whole game in terms of shadowing.
Hell yeah.
By the way, you know that Sydney Sweeney pick that went viral recently?
I don't know.
Okay, never mind.
Like how recently?
Yeah.
Like in the last month?
Yes. Well, then yes.
That's Travis Hunter adding tackling to his game.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh my god! Like you already have everything. You go add.
Now he's the best tackler in his position. This is crazy.
For sure.
Oh man.
Cameron asks, how much do we think the bye week comes into play for UCF? Sure.
I actually think it'll lead to UCF coming out a bit slow, which will help Colorado. And it's part of the reason why I think Colorado wins this game and hopefully sheds the slow starts is because I think UCF coming off a bye, coming off a big win the week before, I think they're going to come out a bit slow, and that's obviously going to help CU.
But on the Colorado side of things, I think you're glad you're riding this momentum after Baylor into another game the weekend after.
No doubt.
Because you could really turn that into a big momentum swing with the bye week on the other side of this game.
Yeah.
Especially if you come out and win, obviously.
Still crazy that there's 2 bye weeks this year.
I'm so excited.
If you remember, last year before the bye week, something very bad happened.
A lot of bad things happened.
Well, mostly the Stanford game happened. So then we had to sit on that.
Yeah,
that is tough. Right. I forgot about that. East Coast Kev again, we still need to tighten up the right side of the O-line. If I were the DC for UCF, I'd run blitz and stunts on that side all day long. I'm sure it's coming, man.
Yeah.
Big Teasy in the house. Would you rather have a great offensive line and not have Heisman, the Travis tag, or as we are now, sometimes we lose sight of our blessings, hashtag Heisman, Sco Buffs?
It's an interesting perspective. That's lucky a good
too
question.
Hard.
You'll never get me to say I wish I would trade Travis Hunter off the street.
Travis for an elite offensive line? That's kind of interesting question.
Yeah. I don't want to answer it.
You stumped us, Big Teasy. Congrats, man. Thank you, though. And then finally, East Coast Kev once again. By the way, I heard what Richard Sherman said about Travis. Richard should stay off the liquor bottle first, and had the nerve to say he was better than Darrelle Revis.
Hey, Kev, you funny as hell, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Kev is speaking facts, though, because Revis was always better than Sherman when they were both at their prime. And this is crazy that he's talking about Travis this way.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't want to redirect the hate here, but wasn't Richard Sherman a zone corner?
Yes. Yes.
They were known for playing zone, the Seahawks, when
That's
they were
what I thought.
elite, right?
Yeah.
Cover 3.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that you can't even really make those claims.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I will just say this. Stop speaking on Travis. Just let him play football.
Yep. Facts.
But could we get like a Travis Hunter angry game?
I
this
hope
week?
so. We need it.
It seems like this would be the week.
Oh man,
Going
I
back
can't even
home?
imagine what that would look like.
It's going back home and everything, man. Come on.
Yeah,
It's time.
that would be crazy.
Last minute super chat from Jermaine. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate all the love too. Yesterday's show blew up.
Yeah, that was insane. So anyone who's new, hit that subscribe button. By the way, we are officially on Plaque Watch. We are officially, I believe, within 10,000
Let's go.
of 100,000 subscribers on DNVR.
Oh, go crazy.
So
Subscribe to the channel.
subscribe to the channel, guys. That the day that plaque comes, I might cry.
It's going to be a moment. All right, we're out of here. The next time you'll hear from us, we'll be in Orlando getting ready for it's the DNVR pregame show. That's the next show. So see you then. Appreciate you again, Scott. Let the people know where they can find you.
Appreciate y'all boys having me as always. Go give me a follow on Twitter, now known as X, at Scott Procter _ last name spelled with an ER, not an OR. Go check out my work at the Coloradoan here lately. Got a feature up today on Cameron Silman Craig. I think that was last night, but why he's the unsung hero of this much improved defense. But yeah, appreciate y'all having me, man.
Always, man.
I will miss you all. You guys, you. Go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.
Thank you, Laura. Appreciate you.
We all silly like the mayor.